The mysterious Chupacabras, whose name translates to Goatsucker in Spanish, burst onto the cryptozoology scene in the mid-1990s with a string of bizarre and unsettling attacks on livestock in Puerto Rico. Almost overnight, the Chupacabras became the subject of intense speculation and fear, with reports spreading like wildfire across Latin America and eventually, the world. But what exactly is the Chupacabras? A real, undiscovered species? A misidentified known animal? Or merely an urban legend born from the overactive imaginations of a few superstitious individuals? In this video, we'll separate fact from fiction and explore the history of sightings, the various theories about its origins, and the conflicting descriptions of its physical appearance and behavior. So get ready to confront one of the most perplexing mysteries of the modern age. Our journey into the world of the Chupacabras begins in the summer of 1995, in the small town of Canavanas, Puerto Rico. It was here that the first widely reported attacks on livestock took place, igniting a media frenzy. According to eyewitness accounts, the attacks were brutal and seemingly motiveless. Dozens of farm animals, primarily goats and chickens, were drained of blood through small, precise incisions. Some carcasses were even completely exsanguinated, their organs left untouched. Local authorities were baffled, and the owners of the slaughtered animals were understandably distraught. Theories abounded, ranging from cult rituals to the involvement of extraterrestrial beings. But one story, recounted by a few eyewitnesses, stood out from the rest. They described a creature unlike anything they had ever seen, a bipedal, reptilian entity with spiky skin, glowing red eyes, and a terrifying row of shark-like teeth. Some accounts even claimed it had wings and the ability to leap incredible distances. The reports sparked widespread panic and a flurry of alleged sightings across Puerto Rico. Residents armed themselves and formed neighborhood watch groups, determined to protect their homes and families from the dreaded Chupacabras. But as the frenzy intensified, a more plausible explanation emerged. In August of 1995, a bizarre, hairless creature was discovered dead near Canavanas. It was an almost alien-looking animal with blue skin, fangs, and what appeared to be spikes protruding from its back. Was the elusive Chupacabras finally revealed? Or just a severely deformed coyote or dog? The debate raged on, but the legend of the Chupacabras was cemented. Following the Puerto Rico incident, reports of Chupacabras sightings and livestock mutilations spread across Latin America and the southwestern United States. From the jungles of Brazil to the deserts of Mexico, and even as far north as Maine and Oregon, people claim to have encountered the dreaded Goatsucker. In Mexico, the tales took on a slightly different form. Here, the Chupacabras was often described as a hairless creature resembling a dog, with a row of vicious spines running down its back. Some accounts even attributed it with the ability to hop like a kangaroo or run on its hind legs like a human. One particularly chilling incident occurred in the Mexican state of Querétaro in 2009. A group of construction workers claimed to have come face to face with the beast, describing it as a horrific, emaciated dog-like creature with greenish-gray skin and glowing red eyes. According to their account, the Chupacabras let out a bone-chilling shriek before scampering away into the night. Meanwhile, in the United States, reports of livestock mutilations and Chupacabras sightings cropped up in states like New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona. One of the most well-documented cases occurred in the town of Elmendorf, Texas, in 2004. Over the course of several weeks, dozens of chickens and goats were found dead, drained of blood. Residents reported seeing a strange, hairless creature lurking around the area at night, leading many to believe the Chupacabras was responsible. Not all sightings fit the typical reptilian or canine descriptions. In some parts of South America, particularly Chile and Argentina, the Chupacabras was said to resemble a bizarre, alien creature with long, thin arms and legs, and a large, bulbous head. One Chilean farmer even claimed to have captured the creature on video in 2016. The grainy footage showed a humanoid figure scampering across a field, its movements too fast and agile to be human. Of course, skeptics were quick to dismiss the reports as hoaxes, misidentifications, or the product of overactive imaginations. But for those who claim to have encountered the Chupacabras firsthand, the experience was all too real. With such an array of conflicting accounts, it's no wonder that the Chupacabras has spawned a multitude of theories. From the plausible to the downright outlandish, let's take a look at some of the most prominent known animal species. Perhaps the most straightforward explanation is that the Chupacabras is simply a known animal species that has been distorted through the lens of superstition. Coyotes, dogs, and other canids have been proposed, given their propensity for livestock attacks. Some have suggested that the Chupacabras could be a species of large hairless canine known as the Mexican hairless dog or Saulois quintly. These ancient breeds, with their distinctive wrinkled skin, could easily be mistaken for something far more sinister by those unfamiliar with them. An undiscovered species. On the other hand, many cryptozoologists firmly believe that the Chupacabras represents a new, undiscovered species. Some speculate that the Chupacabras could be a surviving relic of a prehistoric species, perhaps a distant cousin of the velociraptor or other long-extinct predator. Others have proposed that it may even be the product of genetic experimentation gone awry. Extraterrestrial origins. Proponents of this hypothesis point to the creature's bizarre, almost alien appearance in certain eyewitness accounts, as well as its apparently supernatural abilities, such as the capacity to drain blood without leaving a trace. A tulpa or thought form. Originating in Tibetan Buddhist practices, a tulpa is essentially a manifestation of intense concentrated thought and belief. An entity brought into existence through the sheer power of the mind. Could the Chupacabras be a modern-day tulpa, born from the collective fears and superstitions of Puerto Rican farmers? After all, the creature emerged during a period of economic and social upheaval on the island, when tales of dark forces were rampant. According to this theory, the widespread obsession with the Chupacabras essentially willed it into existence, giving form to a primal fear that had been festering in the collective unconscious. While far-fetched, the idea of tulpas is taken quite seriously in certain spiritual and occult circles. And if we consider the Chupacabras as a kind of mass hallucination or shared delusion, it might explain the conflicting eyewitness accounts. Among the most perplexing aspects of the Chupacabras phenomenon is the range of physical descriptions attributed to the creature. From reptilian humanoids to hairless canines, accounts paint a bewildering array of forms and features. That said, there are a few common threads that may provide clues to the true nature of the Chupacabras, should it exist. Perhaps the most consistent characteristic is the hairless, spiky skin. The Chupacabras is almost universally portrayed as lacking the fur or feathers of a typical mammal or bird. Another frequently cited trait are the glowing red or orange eyes. These eerie orbs are said to shine with a supernatural intensity, cutting through the darkness like torchlight. Accounts also tend to agree on the Chupacabras' bipedal stance and ability to move in an upright fashion. Some even claim to have seen it hop or run on its hind legs. As for its size, estimates vary wildly, with some describing a creature no larger than a coyote or dog, while others report seeing a towering, humanoid beast well over 6 feet tall. This discrepancy could be due to a number of factors, including the distance and lighting conditions, or perhaps even the existence of multiple types of Chupacabras. One of the most chilling aspects of the Chupacabras' physical profile is its alleged row of vicious, shark-like fangs. These fearsome chompers are said to puncture the hides of its victims, leaving behind the telltale incisions and bloodless carcasses. Of course, skeptics have been quick to point out that no known mammal possesses such teeth, but for those who have claimed to come face to face with the beast's gaping maw, there are no such doubts. The Chupacabras' alleged behavior and hunting methods are downright sinister. According to many reports, the creature is primarily nocturnal, stalking prey under the cover of darkness with outstanding stealth and cunning. Its victims are typically domestic livestock, but there have also been rare instances of larger animals, like cows and horses, falling prey to the Chupacabras' gruesome attacks. The hallmark of the attacks is the complete draining of the victim's blood, via a series of small, precise puncture wounds. Often, not a single drop of blood remains, leaving the carcass pale and desiccated. Perhaps even more chilling than the bloodletting is the fact that the chupacabras leaves the rest of the body virtually untouched. No organs are removed, no flesh consumed. This method of hunting has led some researchers to speculate that the chupacabras may not actually be motivated by predatory instincts at all. Instead, they propose, the creature could be driven by a more mystical or supernatural purpose, perhaps even draining the blood for some kind of occult ritual. Adding to the enigma is the chupacabra's ability to seemingly vanish into thin air, leaving no physical trace of its presence aside from the bloodless husks of its victims. Eyewitnesses also report seeing the creature leap incredible distances or even take flight. Some have even claimed to have shot or struck the beast directly, only to have it disappear in a puff of smoke or mist, as if it were never truly corporeal to begin with. Such extraordinary abilities have only fueled theories of the chupacabra's otherworldly or paranormal origins. In the face of such a bizarre phenomenon, the scientific community has taken a keen interest in unraveling the mystery of the chupacabras. Indeed, if an undiscovered species like chupacabras truly does exist, the implications for our understanding of biology and evolution would be profound. Numerous investigations have been launched by zoologists, cryptozoologists, and other experts in an attempt to gather empirical evidence and shed light on the creature's true nature. Perhaps the most well-known of these endeavors was the high-profile investigation carried out by scientist and prominent cryptozoologist Benjamin Radford, in the wake of the infamous Elmendorf, Texas incidents. Radford and his team conducted extensive interviews, collected physical evidence from attacks, and even deployed infrared cameras in the hopes of capturing the elusive beast on film. Ultimately, Radford's investigation did not yield any conclusive proof of the chupacabra's existence, but it did uncover some potential explanations for the livestock mutilations. For instance, the team discovered that many of the incisions found on the victims' bodies resembled wounds inflicted by common scavengers like vultures and coyotes. It's entirely possible, Radford concluded, that these opportunistic scavengers were simply taking advantage of already deceased or injured animals. Additionally, Radford's research uncovered instances of livestock being killed by more mundane culprits, such as dogs or even surprisingly, birds of prey. While these findings did little to definitively solve the mystery of the chupacabras, they served to highlight the often unreliable nature of eyewitness testimony and our tendency to attribute unexplained phenomena to supernatural causes. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend of the chupacabras shows no signs of abating. In fact, as sightings and reports continue to trickle in from around the globe, the scientific community remains poised and ready to investigate further. From its humble beginnings as a local bogeyman in the rural towns of Puerto Rico, the chupacabras has evolved into a full-blown global phenomenon, captivating and terrifying people across cultures and continents. Is it a flesh and blood monster, lurking in the shadows and draining the life from its helpless prey? A shared delusion born of fear and superstition, given form by the collective unconscious? Or perhaps even a visitor from another world or dimension, defying our understanding of reality itself? The truth remains as elusive as the creature at the heart of this mystery. But that is part of the allure of the chupacabras. It represents the unknown, the unexplained, the dark corners of our world that yet instill a sense of primal wonder and dread. So while the scientific community continues its efforts to explain the enigma, the rest of us can ponder the implications and indulge our imaginations. What if the chupacabras is real? What mysteries of nature might it reveal? So keep one eye on the shadows. For who knows? The next time you hear the unearthly shriek of an unseen creature, or stumble upon livestock drained of its life force, you may just have encountered the legendary chupacabras.